Hey everybody, this is Joe, and you know I got soul.
All right, I got soul here with Joe once again. We're approaching this new album. My name is Joe Thomas. 12th album now.
Yeah.
Just talk about what inspired the creation of this project.
Oh man, just going back, trying to take it back to where people fell in love with, me as an artist, and they respected what that music was and what it felt like, what it sounded like. An homage to My Name Is Joe, the album that I released back in 1995, 96. The biggest album to date. And, excuse me, a lot of times I just reflect on that particular era of music, even just in the 90s period. I mean, we were very successful. I mean, people bought records, they bought albums, When I say albums, I mean like CDs, cassettes, whatever the case may be. Now that doesn't exist. Excuse me. And it's hard transitioning from having a physical copy to the digital world. And that digital world is we all know what it includes. Having iTunes or Amazon, all these different networks that can allow you to download an album. And I would like to get more of my fans that want physical copies, and I know what that means. I mean, I think it's something special about having a CD you can actually see, look at the pictures, read the credits, all of the above. But the times have changed now. I mean, it's more in the digital world, and they do have that as well, where you can also download the booklet, so to speak, that has all the information and everything else on it. So moving forward, with this album, I just wanted to create something that was like that My Name Is Joe experience. And hashtag My Name Is Joe, the new album, November 11th, is really just an homage to how good it felt when you listen to that music. And I just wanted to write just quality songs and have something that represented to those that are in relationships, or those that are trying to be successful, especially those that are trying to be successful in their relationships. I mean, there's so many great songs, and I can't wait to release the album. I would love to give the playlists out just so they can see what the titles are. And I think a lot of times when you read the title, it gets you more interested in what the song is talking about. So I'm excited, for November 11th. For the release of the album, hashtag My Name Is Joe Thomas, for everybody to hear what it is.
Of course, we heard a lot of your vintage sound on the first single, So I Can Have You Back. Yet another top 5 single. It's probably going to reach number 1 eventually. Congrats on that.
Lord willing, thank you.
So, what struck us is that, the vulnerability you continue to show in so many of your singles. Like, what allows you to do that and make show you the vulnerable side of yourself?
Well, I think I committed, early on to show that vulnerability and just speak on things and just talk about whatever topic, especially, when it deals with relationships. I mean, I've been in a few. Unfortunately, some didn't work out the way I would have liked them to. But it's all a learning experience. I mean, it's going to be rare that you find someone that has been with their high school sweetheart or whatever the case may be since day one, and they're continuing to strive and make it happen, make it beautiful. But for those that are on the other side of the coin, that are struggling, I'm still trying to find that one that fits perfectly for me, and I think I write from that perspective. It's like so I Can Have You Back, for instance. I'm sure a lot of people have maybe felt, even though that they have found that maybe or didn't realize until later that they had that perfect one, and they were in the right situation and just didn't do the right things by it ultimately, but also still feel like that's their one, and no matter what it takes, they will wait it out, or they not necessarily they would do something to jeopardize their relationship because they want her to, or him, or whoever the case may be, to be happy. But you still feel like, what? I hope he does something bad. I hope he does something that's just like so unforgivable. And to say to allow her to realize that what I had wasn't so bad after all. It wasn't that bad. It was not what this person just did to me. So yeah, I mean, excuse me. I mean, that's really what life is about. Is about going through those certain times that makes you a better person. And sometimes, with us, with me, let me just speak for myself because I can't say us because I know all men are not the same, and I think that's a misconception, is that we all think the same way and do the same things. But for me, it's that certain growing and growth process that allows me to get to a certain point that maybe, I've lived that life now, and I'm so ready. I'm so ready to be 100% committed. I'm so ready to be so devoted to having a beautiful relationship with someone that I can enjoy the different experiences and throughout the rest of my life, and I think that's what this album really represents. It's like, here I am now again making another album about love, about relationships, and not being in that position, and in that position to be able to share that with someone that you consider absolutely precious and special. So here I'm again. We read it's the 2.0 of My Name is Joe, and it's almost like the reintroduction. It's like we starting all over again. Like, you know what? Let's start from the beginning. It's nice to meet you. Hi, my name is Joe. No, my name is Joe Thomas. I want you to meet the real me.
And we're really excited to hear the album when it comes out November 11th. But, some of your fans are a little nervous because on your song Happy Hour that they're released with Gucci Mane, he mentioned it being Joe's last album. So obviously that would be a huge, loss if this was to be your last album. You've had such a legendary career. Your fans want to hear more. What did it mean? Was that true?
This music industry is very, very tough, very, very difficult, and I've done it for a very long time, and I've had success in it, and I've been very fortunate, and I thank God for every opportunity and everything that He's blessed me with. And sometimes there come a point where where you feel like maybe, and I don't want to be too too outside of thinking when it comes to, I love the music 100%, but also I want everybody else to love the music as well. So when you don't feel like someone is, or I guess it comes down to, if you're not as successful as far as sales, and you look at the numbers, and which could really be a huge impact on whether you want to continue this or not, and because it says to you, like, it doesn't matter anymore what you do, what you bringing out. If you put an album out again, no matter how much hard work you put into it, it's almost like it doesn't matter whether you put an album out or not. I mean, we can deal with a song or two, maybe, but maybe an album, I'm not sure. And I think that's the hardest part when I'm a songwriter, I'm a producer, I'm a musician, and when you put all those energies and mix them all together and to try to create a project, and it means so much to you, and you're so excited about the release, you're so excited about people hearing it, and sometimes a lot of people don't get a chance to hear the project. They might hear about it, but they don't actually get a chance to pick up, or download, the album. So it kind of leaves you in a place where, should I continue? Should this be something that I just keep beating in the head? I mean, of course, I'd love to continue doing music if everybody wants to hear it, if people want to hear it. So I don't want to say definitely, but certainly the question has crossed my mind. And I'm at a point now where I so want people to, only if they feel it and love it, to support it. I don't want to force no one to, by being a certain way. And I'll never forget when my man 50 challenged Kanye West, to that particular album. They were both releasing, I think, maybe in the same week, on the same day, and it became one of those. Well, if he wins, I'm out. You know. And all I want to do, I always wanted to win. I've always wanted to be successful, and I've always wanted to make people happy. And so that when they listen to the music, they find something in it that is connected to their particular life. Right. And hopefully, you know, there's a great success on this album. And I encourage everybody that, you know, that wants to bring R&B back to a certain state, that where it used to be, because I'm certainly fighting for it, and I want it to survive. I want it to be successful again. I want those, you know, of Genuine and even Jodeci and I mean so many of those dope artists that were, you know, considered to be dope by the masses. I don't want this genre to get pushed to the side or to be an unsung genre of music. I mean, hip hop is the new pop. I mean, I can clearly say that right now, because the influence that hip hop has on it is the most popular music in any genre. Right. Hip hop is the most popular music in any genre. Right. So it's the new pop to me, and because they have reached and touched the different cultures, everybody. And I want R&B to be just like it was when it was Marvin Gaye, when it was the Gap Band, when it was New Edition. It was so many great performers and great songwriters even back then, and great entertainers. So I want to bring that particular love for what R&B is back into the forefront. Right. And if it's at that point where nobody cares anymore, you know, I don't want to have to change who I am as far as like, okay, now I got to go trap. Right. Now I got to be a trap R&B artist. Right. Or I got to switch my lyrics up to sell records. And I'm not trying to sell records. I just want people to hear it and be open to, okay, this is what R&B is. Now I can appreciate this. They talking about something talking about love. They have respect for women. Like the word thought is a whole nother level of conversation. Like, wow. I mean, we had the other three-letter word, which I would never say. But now you have another thing that the young generation has adopted and they continue to use. Is we're at a point now where R&B is at a crossroads. And somebody has to step out front and say, you know what, I'm not going to let it go this route.
Right. Love it. Love that philosophy. You know, on a lighter note, being that this album is a, you know, homage to your My Name Is Joe album, take us back to the 90s. Like, it's almost hard to imagine what it was like to record an album in the 90s. You know, one of the golden eras of R&B. It was at its peak. You know, what was it like making music in that period?
It's for me, it's quite like it is now, because I still use the same you know, approach to writing. Obviously, the production has to be a little more of what's happening now. I mean, I've always wanted to do an album that just was very organic as far as instruments and all of that. But also, you know, I know there's a new generation born every day, and we have to cater to them just as much as we cater into, you know, my core audience. And but without compromising, without sacrificing anything when it comes to that. And so that's why I started writing this album in the most organic way, you know, just with a piano, no track included, or just a guitar, and creating songs, creating lyrics and melody first, and then adding all the other elements and compositions to it later on, which I felt was very important for me to keep the essence of what R&B is, but also understand that, okay, it's moving. It's continuing to move, which I don't have a problem with. But I just want the words and the meaning and the perception of who we are to still be that classic, romantic, excuse me, an elegant sort of style of performers. I mean, I learned from the greatest. I learned from the best when it comes to who I was inspired by. The Marvin Gayes, the Stevie Wonders, the Smokey Robinsons, the Al Greens, the Barry Whites. When it comes to male solo singers, and they have just been very. And I don't think the generation now has that particular influence. I mean, maybe because it's not on a larger scale that they can see that, oh wow, this is something of importance. I need to pay attention to this. That's how I want to be. Or making the ladies scream when they look at it a certain way. It's like, well, yeah, they screaming because that song has affected them throughout their life, and it means something amazing to them. So, of course, not being of the generation now, it's kind of hard to reach them in a certain way, because I think what they listen to first is the beat and the music. Right. So when you got that groove happening for them, then maybe later on and it feels that good, then it'll soak in, like, oh wow, you hear what he's saying. That actually, it's just as good as the music now. It's even better than the music, because then they start quoting certain lines from what you've written. And I think that's the ultimate goal for me when it comes to reaching that young generation.
Interesting question we got from one of your fans. We saw Babyface and Tony Braxton have a lot of success with their collaboration album. If you were to do an album like that, is there a female singer you would choose to do one with?
Sade.
Wow.
Sade.
Wow.
I absolutely love Sade. I think she's amazing. Her style is just so mellow and so smooth, and to add a little bit of edge to her, when it comes to what I do. And I could be smooth too if need be, because I try to perform for the record, and give the record what it needs. But I mean, I can imagine Sade on, a groovy track, something with me that may be a little bit more edgier than her, because she's still going to be Sade on the record. She's still going to lace it and just be as mellow and smooth as she is. And so I would love to do a collabo album, not just a song, right. An entire project.
That'd be amazing.
Yes, sir.
And just one more question for you. We love to reflect back on your legendary career, 12 albums now. There's a lot of album cuts that should have been singles. We wonder if you ever look back thinking like, oh, that song should have been a single or should have been bigger. Can you think of any off the top of your head that you feel like that should have been, a smash or anything like that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're right. You said there's a lot. One off the top, I can't really say. I know Magic. I love from. I believe it was the Double Back album. I wish I would have released Bridges, the song Bridges, from the Bridges album. I thought that was a dope one as well. I mean, that's hindsight, right? If I would have knew then. Right. But you just you sort of keep moving, and I've always looked at it this way. Maybe that album wasn't as successful. That means you go back in again. Successful enough, basically, that people wanted to hear it. I know I got my core audience, and I certainly appreciate my fans for supporting me with every album that I ever put out. But at the same time, you look at the other artists. Of course, we all base our careers off someone else's career, and we look at their success, and we want, and it just inspires us. I mean, we strive to be just as great, and I don't think nobody wants to, be, especially in this industry, wants to be second best. Right. I mean, Kanye, he makes that argument every time he comes out, and I applaud him for that, because he wants to be always top dog. He wants to be number one every time, regardless whether it's friends that he's worked with or whoever the case may be. So for me, it goes the same. I mean, I always want to be on top, whether it's R. Kelly, whether it's Trey Songz, whether it's Neo, whether it's Usher, anybody in R&B. You want to be at the top of that pendulum. You want to be at the top of it. Right. And the only way to get to the top at the end of the day is fans pushing you and making sure that you're in that particular position, and your job as the artist is to make sure your music is just that good. To say, you know what, it's undeniable. You know, no one can question this. This is where it needs to be. I mean, I get underrated all the time, and I mean, really, I don't know what that says to the industry, but what it says to me as fans, speaking on my behalf on that, is that, you know what, I deserve much more. I deserve to be a lot further on than where I am.
Joe, is there anything you'd like to add?
Other than, I just like to say, you know, we've been doing interviews for quite a while now, and you've always been very consistent. You've always been very fair. You've always been very honest, and I applaud you for being just who you are. And thank you so much for, over the years, for your support, you know, in my career. I mean, who knows if this is the last one? Only God knows. But regardless, you know, it has been absolutely amazing speaking to you, and you creating an avenue and a vehicle for my fans to get to see me and to hear me, and to bring questions, and I've been so honored to have known you and to have spoken to you. So it's a blessing. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Joe.
My pleasure.
And let me just add, on behalf of R&B fans everywhere and R&B journalists like myself, we just have loved your contribution to the genre over the years. It wouldn't have been the same. I'm just, you know, getting emotional thinking about you leaving the genre, because it's not going to be the same. But if this is the last one, you know, you've done so much for R&B, and that's irreplaceable. It's timeless. You've left behind a legacy that will not be touched. So thank you for all you've done for R&B.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.